So it therefore gives me great pleasure to introduce to you tonight a world-renowned scholar and leading expert on housing affordability and innovation, Dr. Avi Friedman. Dr. Friedman is a professor of architecture at McGill University and is a practicing architect. He's published more than 15 books on topics related to community sustainability and housing, has spoken at countless conferences around the world, and has won numerous awards, including the UN World Habitat Award. I recently wrote a profile on community planning innovators, and I chose to look at Dr. Friedman. And I was deeply inspired by his work, both by the theoretical and technical aspects of housing and community design, but additionally by the education and outreach that he does. He's regarded as an absolute expert in both theory and practice on issues related to sustainability, housing, and community. He's a leader in advocacy and a role model to those who see public outreach and education as a vital component to planning great communities. So, without further ado, would you please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Friedman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I'm really overwhelmed. And also to the gracious hospitality that I felt. Beth took me around. We spent the morning traveling around. And you are living in a wonderful piece of geography. You are very fortunate. I'm jealous. So wonderful, wonderful place. Now, the subject today is affordable housing. And there is no need to overstate the importance of having a home for each of us. It seems to be a rudimentary element of society. It seems to be, good home seems to be a rudimentary element of a family. Without it, many things about our communities and our cities do not function. But in the past few years, it has become extremely important, extremely difficult to afford affordable housing. Things or situations that earlier generation took for granted, those after the Second World War could easily afford the home. Young people, millennials who are coming today to the market, face an astonishing reality, unable to buy the basic of homes. And this is something that caused fantastic concerns, because what we can see is that the rationale or the reason for not being able to afford these places has nothing to do with the people themselves. Things got out of control. The circumstances became so hard, such as, say, the fact that we are talking about of economic changes that happen around the world, no job security anymore. The fact that the industry, to the most part, lack innovation, there is no innovation, as well as the fact that demographically we are orchestrated and organized differently today. So it is a perfect storm of circumstances that made what past generation took for granted impossible for current generation to afford. Now, if I am to put for a second my professor hat on my head, and I will explain what makes affordable housing, I can distill it to two elements. Policy, this is all the policy that we instate, like zoning, bylaws, grants, and so on. And the second one is the product. In other words, the design itself. These are the two elements that can be tuned up and manipulated in order to make affordable housing. I'm an architect by training, and what I will do tonight, I will speak about, and in particular, I will dedicate particular attention to innovation. We will try to see ideas that lead to affordable housing, and as you will see, affordable housing is not about putting people in homes. This is a mere technical issue. It's about creating different communities, and this is what I would like to share with you today. I was fortunate in the past few years, having several sabbaticals, traveling to conferences and so on, to visit some of the most interesting places in the world where affordable housing was a prime concern. I visited interesting project that I would like to share with you tonight. I wrote about them in several books, and you are welcome. Those of you who would like to see those examples will be able to find them in some of these books. Another important thing when I travel to places is recognizing that affordable housing is a mere technical act. What I'm looking to see is not only projects, but projects that have a unique sense. And what I'm looking for is a sense of place. In other words, what in the place make it ever so unique when it comes to creating a very nice and special environment. I wrote about them also several books that you are welcome again to visit if you want to see some of the ideas on which I talk today. But what is sense of place? I believe that when I think about the places that I visited in the past 2 days, I visited a region with a unique sense of place that reflects in its culture. It is not only the cinnamon bun that I ate in Lady Smith, or the wonderful, wonderful bread that I tasted in True Grain Bakery in Cowichan Bay. But there are wonderful things that have unique character, special characters and sign and symbol relevant to each. Now, what it does to us, why are we related to a place in a unique fashion? I believe that when you combine those sense of place and the need of people, you recognize that people who live in a place, a unique place, create a wonderful relationship. They have an identity of the place, and I have no doubt that coming and introducing ideas from other places may not be relevant here because your sense of place might be different. So we are into a wonderful relationship when we come to a place that speaks to us in a unique fashion, and this is what I felt in this place. So, what are we going to talk tonight? We're going to talk about affordable housing with sense of place. Now, what I would like to do is to start in one of these unique places. I believe that building affordable housing, and I keep mentioning it, is a technical issue. Places become beautiful when you return to them many years later. So what I did would like to start the evening in taking you to the place that spoke to me because it was built as housing for the middle class ages, centuries back. And what I wanted to see is how the place turned to be that place. And this is the Border Market in Haarlem in Holland. So we are all getting now into my plane and we are flying to Holland. Beautiful place. When you are in Holland, in any place, in any old town, you cannot but admire the uniqueness of the place. The roofscapes and so on, the food, the people, and so on. So as you arrive to Haarlem, you move to that main street, which is entirely pedestrian. No cars are there. And then as you walk to Main Street, you arrive to the main square. And this is where people come and meet, tourists and local are sitting, having their wonderful beer and so on, and enjoying the company of each other. And as you walk in that square, you see signs of democracy. Here, when I was there, I saw young people having big posters, and they, under the title, Make a Change, and they argue something that is important to them. And again, you probably familiar with Jane Jacob, who say that places become important where everybody have a say. And this is something that you see there. And then you arrive to a place that was almost taken from a Vermeer drawing. And this is the Border Market neighborhood. And this is a typical street. Obviously, built centuries ago, when Haarlem was in its glorious year, you can see a place that was not designed for a vehicle. It was designed for horses and carriages. There was no setback. They don't have a setback and a huge yard in the front that nobody ever sit in and use. The people have, and this is here, is their front yard. This is the front yard. And this is a bench to sit on and talk to your neighbor. And you walk into this place and you enjoy it immensely. And then you walk and you can see that all the streets in that neighborhood has the same sense. They have been designed to accommodate people who at the time were middle class or lower middle class, who live in these homes so beautifully. And over the time, the vines go over, creating this wonderful arcade. And when you do what I do when I visited, and you go to the back of this home, you can see patches of areas where older people sit and play cards, when women talk, when people play, where kids play. So there is a room for social interaction at the back of that place. And they don't have to drive a truck to the local mall to save on food, to buy food, because it is right at the street's corner. You have in every street corner, you have stores, you have places to buy, to shop, and this is not a store. This is a social magnet, and people are congregating in many of these places. And as you can see, when you are born in Holland, they give you a bike when you leave the hospital. What happened as you continue to walk, you can see that the people are happy. Yes, they can take the beer out of the pub and sit and talk to each other ever so nicely. And you can see these wonderful images and you say, why can't we have it here? We can. And this is the message today. We can have them here. A true sense of place become apparent many years after its building. So the art of building a community, an affordable community, is not difficult. How you can design a place that will be that? And this is what I was looking for in my many visits around the world. I would like to start by talking about every place in North America. This type of community, this type of place, can never be affordable. More than a project, it is a social statement. That you build yourself a 2-car garage, and I believe that you need to take your passport if you want to go somewhere, because it's hard to reach a place, that you surround yourself with a fence, and you cannot talk to your neighbor unless you yell over the fence. And if the kids who live here or here would like to visit this guy, they will have to walk like this and maybe arrive to their friend after 2 hours. So this is something that does not create affordable housing. What I would like to do is to take you to a place that was built relatively recently, starting 2001, still ongoing, of a place that provided affordable housing in Sweden that is ever so unique, called Westerhamn. It used to be the old port of Malmö. And the entire place was taken and was converted to a different community. And as you see in Sweden or in many Scandinavian countries, and I will show you a few of them now, common sense prevails. When they talk to each other, I believe that they come up with marvelous ideas, all that have sense. And you ask, why aren't we having it? And they definitely provided it. Do you see something missing in this picture of this overall, of this aerial view of that neighborhood? Something is not there.
Roads. I can't see roads and cars.
No roads. This is who we are. If you at home do not park your car in front of the flat screen TV in the living room, something is wrong with your house. You need to sell your house. But they decided to create an environment that is uniquely different. All the roads are shared with these pedestrian, no sidewalks. Once again, beautiful design, diversity, climate-oriented design to block wind. Ecology prevail and play prevail in all these places. And as you walk, the water in Sweden from all the balconies and the roof needs to be streamed into this beautiful canal that make walking them so nice. And as you walk, you cannot help but notice the art. Yes, they say, let's design our neighborhood and introduce art features. What do? It's water and rock. In other words, they understand that in order to enjoy living, you need to have a soul. And art is a soul. And this is something that they introduce in all the places. And once again, there are older people in the community. They don't believe that warehousing old people in institutions when they get old is a good way. So in that community, they build this structure where in the winter, people who live in this apartment building, older people, and young too, can come and sit here when everything is covered with snow. The thinking about the detail that make life unique is ever so important. I believe that good urban planning plants seeds of civility. When you create something good, it will not only be a place to live, but it educates the people who live there. And this is what I find in some of these places, and I will talk and show you some more again later. Another project in my hometown was built, it's called Cité Jardin Fontenot, by a group of architects that use my model, the Gros Home that I designed in the 1990s. But here it is. The people in the area, those people, did not want affordable housing. They raise a noise and so on, but the city suggested, no, we are going to introduce higher density. The planners introduced a few measures, some of which were to create an area, public areas. In other words, in these places, it could have been divided, and the entire public space could have been shared by 2 yards. But they say, no, let's plant seed of civility and create area that everyone can share. And this is what they did. So this creates a public space in which everyone can gather, and you can understand or feel what happened in something like this. I went there in the morning. There was no... Architects like to take photos without people. So what happened is you can assume and understand what happened when people choose to sit here on Saturday afternoon, planting seeds of civility. And this is how the facade, fairly modest, we build with brick and stucco, as you can see here. And the roads, they broke again the law. I believe that the planner need to be sent to jail because they did not design a street which is 60 feet wide. They decided to do only 18. But this is what it creates, and you can assume and understand what will happen, that the trees will grow over each other to create a beautiful canopy. This is life. Life is about enjoying every moment, is about planting trees that will draw in the birds, that you will have a bench to sit under and enjoy. But this is life. This is places with sense of place. And in that place, they have the attic was left unpartitioned, and the basement also for people to finish by themselves. And this made the place ever so affordable. And they have, as you can see here, urban agriculture. And as I mentioned earlier, building homes is a mere technical act. It's putting 2x6s together. Turning these places in beautiful community is a taller order that we need to celebrate and know how to do. And places affect the people who live in them to create wonderful areas. I then from there flew on to Melbourne, Victoria. Victoria is the state, and I was amazed the kind of things that the state of Victoria did to homeless and unfortunate people. In Melbourne, in that place, building social housing is done by a national competition. They bring the best architects. It's not something that shoved aside. It is the best architect. And what they did also is break the rule again. As you can see in the neighborhood, most of the homes are single-family homes. What they have done, they changed the thing, and in this law they introduced much higher density place where people are parked outside to create beautiful court, beautiful area for people to live in. I visited when I was taken by the architect just after the place got open. And you can see that the people are enjoying it. You can see when you give a person a home, how their demeanor changes. It is a beginning. Home for them is not a place to live. It is a ladder to opportunity, to start the life again and to completely build their future and the future of their families. Affordability, ladies and gentlemen, is among other, when it comes to planning, about creating smart, compact communities and planning. It is thinking outside the box. If we were to fall into old models, we will never have affordable housing. We are kidding ourselves. We need to do what they're doing. If you were to see apartment buildings that are built today, you will see that most of them built the way it was the case many years ago. However, the single family home cannot be afforded by today's generation, by today's millennial. What we need to do is a plain and simple increase density. If you were to check CMHC statistics, you will see that the multi-family homes, the number of them in Canada, growing ever so rapidly. We are building many apartment buildings. But once again, what we need to do is to start to bring innovation to design. And if you were to look for innovation, you can see a place that recently become, if you want, in the past few years, so active and so vibrant, and this is China. When you go to China today, you see so many innovative ideas, and I believe that because of their system of government, they don't afraid to take chance, because it's all backed and support. So they made a wonderful transition from this type of housing to this. Somebody wants to live here, apartment here, this is free, or to this. Beautiful, innovative project in all those places. But I would like to take you to one of the interesting projects that I saw that was built in the city of Guangdong to migrant workers, people who come from other places. And what is interesting about it, that in order to enforce the sense of place, what they did was build upon a traditional housing form called the Tulu. This is a circular building that was designed to protect the people who live in it against attacks, enemy attacks that come from other places. So it was very interesting, and those architects used this model to create a circle, and inside there is another cube, and the houses in the circle faces the outside, and in the middle there are corridors, so there is no blocking of light, if you will. But it is a very interesting example that dwell on the cultural heritage of the place, of the region, to bring up affordable housing, and this is absolutely affordable by all standards. They are small, compact, and were designed to be ever so beautiful. Now, if we build affordable housing in an apartment building, we need to be innovative in the way we organize the space in them. We tend to believe that in affordable housing, we need to leave a huge backyard at the back. Can you have a backyard on the 5th or the 6th floor? Yes, you can. And it was tried in Toronto by Tipple Architects. Designed for people who work in the restaurant industry in Chinatown, it was designed to make affordable housing for families. In other words, if you are a single person or older person or a young couple who want to step out and be with others, you will be able to do it on the 6th floor because they have open spaces. And it was designed in a way with many sustainable features that drives water right into these areas, along with the creation of living wall in them. Ever so innovative, ever so innovative. Now, I do understand that the scale and so on is big to your place and the region. But in each of these projects, there is a seed idea of creating innovative, affordable housing of a different type that will make many people want to live in them. But if you want to see the most innovative, or one of the most innovative nations in the world, you have to fly to Denmark and visit Copenhagen. I don't know what they drink in the water, what they put in the water to have this innovation. I traveled to a conference one in China, and I happened to see a person sitting on the corner, and she was the deputy minister of the environment, talking and see how they think. Is like I thought that she landed from another planet. People concerned are put place first, and there is so much beauty and common sense in what they do, and the result is they say we don't have resources. The only resource that we have is between our ears, is our brain, and we use it well. We try to use it well in so many ways. And they build a three-dimensional neighborhood called the 8 House. It is manipulation or twisting of the creating based on the model of the number 8. And as you go throughout, you believe, by the way, that you need to enter apartment building, press the button, and go all the way to the 10th floor? No. The Danes say you can ride your bike on that side street or walk on that place, and you can walk all the way. So you also get healthy practice of walking onto your place. And you might meet your neighbor, and you will say, hi, how are you today? Neighborhood is about building contact. It's the element that you get when you see your neighbor who gives you a hug at the end of the bad day, who gives you this power and empowerment that make ever so unique experience. They do it well. And as you go around, you can see that this is you can see here the main street. You can see that this is almost like a phone backyard, but on the 10th floor. Looking closer, each one created their own oasis. There is a plan to go, places to sit, and so on in their short summer. But it is beautiful. The entire place have cafe, offices, restaurants, daycare, school. It's all in one place to make a wonderful, wonderful building that is truly unique and special. Affordability means that if we are to live in higher density living, we need to innovate in them as well. They have to be much more innovative, something that we did not do. Construction. If you were to visit any construction site today, you will see that not much was changed from the 1940s and 50s. We're still shipping 2x6s to a muddy construction site to have them banked together and create a wall. If you were to go to an hospital, any hospital, you can go to a complex procedure at 8 o'clock in the morning and be in the taxi, in the car, going home at the end of the afternoon. But we're still banging 2x6s the way we used to do it in the 40s and 60s. Where you find innovation? You go to Holland. Once again, something in the water in all these places. Now, I visited Cowichan Bay, I believe, and Maple Bay, and I saw your floating homes. But can they be a neighborhood? The Dutch thought about it because they understand that they have small amount of land and it is very expensive and precious. So how shall we do this? We will build homes on water. And this is the water houses in Holland, near Amsterdam, a beautiful, beautiful place. What they have done, they build the homes in a factory. And as you can see, they tugboat them all the way to the place, to the locks, and tie them into the wharf. All the utilities are running right here. And what does become? This, a wonderful neighborhood. The thing is, they are not repetitive. There are different things. People who live there are allowed to select their design, their model, and they are beautifully put together. Now, this is what they eliminated is the cost of very costly infrastructure, very simple infrastructure, no digging of lines and so on, and no land. They reduced the price, and this is something that they selected to do there. And the advantage is kids having fun. They don't have to go very far to the swimming pool in summertime, and those of them who can skate can do it also in wintertime, right outside their home. Once again, innovative ideas, and we must bring innovation to construction. We cannot continue and build the way we did so in the 1950s. And what we need to do is to start to think outside the box in how we design places. We have insatiable appetite for space. The people who live in this house, I assume that they have another one, or if not they want another one in Malibu and another one in the south of France. And what happened that in the past few years, we got accustomed to ask for a lot. We got accustomed to live sometime outside our means. We got accustomed to invest our entire life saving at the beginning of our life in a mortgage, and we choked to death, and we struggled so hard to ever pay that mortgage, which is a wrong strategy. You know who is happy? The banks. The banks are very happy. When you check their profit, you see that they are making tons of money. But I believe that what we do today is that in every home that we build, there is a little one that wants to jump out. When I come to visit a new home with friends, they say, I would like to show you. And just when I'm about to leave, they say, oh, I forgot to show you that room under the stairs. And I tell them, you know what, I believe you. I believe you. You don't have to show it to me. You don't have to show it to me. Now, I believe that this grew and changed despite the fact that the number of people per family shrunk ever so dramatically. So I would like to take you to a place where people have no choice because there is not much land and they live modest life. Now think about this place in Tokyo. Once again, look at this kitchen. Many homes that I know, and people are ashamed to say when I come to visit their home, that they don't have a granite top counter, as if somebody needed it. They do not have even a cabinet here. And I believe that they are happy. I believe that they are happy. So this is a home which is only 4 meters wide, very narrow. You can see the steps here. They are, I believe, 18 inches. In Canada, the architect will be arrested immediately. RCMP at night, when the project opened, right outside their home to arrest them. But this is what they live. They don't have much. They don't have much. And they design, as you can see in this place, they are not even walled, and there is beautiful design that brings light in. I believe that our challenge, personal challenge, and affordable housing challenge, is to learn to do less with less. We have tried for very long to do more with less. Doesn't work. You always get yourself into trouble. You get yourself into debt. I will promise you the moon. I will promise you the sky, and it will cost you zero. Never work. I'm coming with a city that's still paying the debt of the Olympic Stadium. Once again. And it never ends. Never ends. We need to learn to live humbly within our means. This is how you get affordable housing, and this is how you begin your life. You can upgrade later and have another home later. I remember my father, when I was young, taking me, and he showed me when a chair was broken. He said, I would like to show you how I fix the chair. And we take and he put screws, we had a few tools, and he showed me how these things. More than an act of work, I believe that I saw the pride in my late father's eyes. But he taught me a lesson. When something is broken, you don't throw it away. And the idea is that you can do things yourself. And this is, again, another sense of pride. And if you see transformation, you can see that we have wonderful opportunity to do things ourselves, because the Home Depot of the world and the laws and so on created wonderful industry. You can go today to some of these stores, buy what you want, and you get explanation, and it is a fantastic products that are easy to apply. So let's see what the French have done. Col Logement Mall House, it is a project by a group called Lacaton Vassell. It is social housing near Paris. What the Parisians have done, invited some of the most famous architects in the world to develop affordable housing. And each designer got a row, and this is the one that was designed by that group. But what they did is work on people instinct and do-it-yourself skills. So what you happen is that this is the space that you get. It's all empty. As you can see that there are pipes sticking out of the wall, but it is basically empty, and it was designed in a certain way. And on the second floor, they have a structure that looks like nursery. But what is interesting here, that people use their energy and wisdom to finish the places by themselves. So as you can see, this group bought cabinets from a place and placed them. This is a traditional kitchen, but this couple built their own kitchen. Once again, we have become accustomed to people making for us everything. And many things can be lowered if you will do it yourself. We have the skills, we have the tool, and I believe that people who want to get somewhere, who want to obtain this famous house, affordable house, need to understand that you will not live in your mansion. Your mansion will not be your first home. You need to compromise and maybe introduce and use your own skills. I believe that affordability is about going with your home, about doing certain things yourself which are important. For many of us, workplace is a place that we are going to in the morning, driving long. Sometime I understood today that many people are driving every day to Victoria for work. But things have changed. Today, digital communication enables us to do and work from home, those of us who can. And as you can see, the growth in digital communication in recent years, it shows you that telecommuting become very, very important. The advantage in Canada is that you can deduct your cost, your operating budget of your office, home office, for your income tax. This is fantastic advantage that the government of Canada provides to its citizens. So what happened is that how we can create a work environment that is ever so unique. In California, they designed a place that addressed the issues of people who do not want to drive and they would like to have an office and live above that office. In model lofts, you have a place. This is a common place that they share. They have a shared kitchen. You work here, you step out, you climb up, and you live in your two-story apartment. The idea of creating affordable housing solution that address variety of people and variety of needs is also important. And housing and working at home can be another avenue for affordable housing, something that we not always create. Having a place in your downtown and your community, there will be a townhouse section where people will be able to work. And as you know, it attracts young people, it attracts the creative people. Because what happened in many communities that I visited, I see that young people keep, as Bev suggested, as was mentioned before, people are departing away from those communities, leaving many old people. Young people are the future blood of the place. They will be the volunteer who will come to church evening and all kind of things to contribute. And not having young people is a very, very big risk to future life, the sustainability, social and economic sustainability of a community, something that needs to be addressed. And the building, of course, designed to be beautiful. I believe that affordability can be reached by working at home. This is another way and measure to reach affordability. I know, and I read in the paper in the past few days, that things are about to change in your energy rates. I know that they are going to go up, and this is really unfortunate. And it's happened in many other places. But imagine that we will take the energy component out of the formula, that you will not have to pay energy bills at all. Again, let's fly and go and visit Sweden and see how energy consumption that is expected to rise very high is addressed on some of these places. Hammarby became a mecca to those who would like to understand how we create local energy and how we reduce energy costs dramatically. The entire community is a marvelous example of beautiful areas that have so many features and measures that making living in sustainable case, in sustainable environment, ever so engaging. And I believe that only on this place I can talk for an hour. But what the place was originally designed as the Olympic Village, for the Swedish bid for the Olympics, I believe, sometime in 70s and 80s. They did not, good for them, they did not get the Olympics. And then they build all these places as affordable housing for people. Everything for charging station that I saw in your community recently as well, to tram, people are not using their car to ride on water rides and so on, are all designed to be energy efficient and sustainable. But this is what I want to talk about. All the garbage, all the waste, both solid and human, and even water, is taken and recycled to generate recycled features, but also energy. How does it work? As you walk in this community, in different intersections, near home you see these pipes. And as you open these pipes, you can see in Swedish it's a paper, plastic and so on, regular waste, they're all here. And as you can see, this you put your waste in here, it falls down, and once a week a truck comes and they suck all that waste, and that waste that is sucked into the truck, going into the incineration plant, safe incineration plant, that is located in the edge of the community to create local energy, bringing down to almost zero the energy of that place. 30% in the district heating come from purified wastewater, 47% from household waste, and 16% from biofuels. And again, just to show you attention to details, exterior materials on the buildings are non-toxic because when it rains, they want to recycle the water and use them for irrigation. So you cannot allow in construction to put any toxic material on the perimeter of the building. And I believe that in the future, affordability will be achieved if we will be able to reduce energy cost in those places. Somebody want to stack on this highway? This is the Santa Barbara Highway Exchange in California. We spent 5 years of our life driving. 5 years of our life. It's unbelievable. Most people who live outside town spend tremendous amount of time driving. And it was demonstrated that communities that are served by public transit have less people who live in them, have only 9% of their budget is dedicated to transportation compared to other places who people who spend 25%. Seems to me, I really believe that we, sometime when we drive and we have garages, we build another home for the car, 400 square feet, because we cannot have waking up in the morning and have the car mad at us. I mean, our life depends on that car. We need to really appease everything about these cars. They are essential to our survival. Now, I really believe you mentioned another panel also, and this is the mayor of Colombia, who say the developed country is not a place where the poor have cars, it is where the rich use public transportation. And there is wonderful things. If we were to lower costs, we need to design a very good transit system. I would like to take you to a community not far away from here in Washington State, where they thought about the car, they put it aside. In other words, they cast it aside. Because if you say go, if you take the amount of land that is dedicated to roads, parking, it accounts to between 40 to 50%. So if you take this number out, you can see what you create, and this is how it looks. Grow community in Washington State. Model place that not only place the homes in different way, but also solar energy, and as you can see, people are parking outside. And when you look closer, you can see that the space inside dedicated in the community, dedicated to pathway, to urban agriculture, to many other things that you don't see. So once you remove the roads away, similar to what was done in Sweden, you can see that there is much land left to other things. And this is not far away context. This is not far away from here. And what they did is build beautiful homes. And again, the integration of urban agriculture and wonderful, innovative public spaces in them create wonderful, wonderful idea as well of use of very nice material and wonderful shape to create a wonderful community. And those spaces that were taken, instead of roads, they have more space for gathering. And of course, they can trade and do urban agriculture that become ever so nice. I believe that if we are to create affordable housing, we need in parallel to invest in public transit and create beautiful, beautiful environment, then give up our car or drive less. And I know that because of certain circumstances in this area, it's not that simple. There is no public transit. But I believe that this needs to be developed over time. It will not happen overnight, and I hope that this indeed will happen. We tend to believe that the only way to buy food is to go on the weekend to large wholesaler like Save on Food and stock for the month. I don't know if you see how big those carts became. You need a driver's license. And when I go to buy and shop in them, I kept saying, I'm sorry, when I bang, you know, Canadians, when I bang into someone else. By the way, nothing in this picture is healthy for you. Lots of salt, sugar, and preservative. But this is what we train ourselves to eat. But I believe that also when you talk about food, you can see that the price of food rose ever so dramatically. For many people sometimes is a choice between food and other household expenses. Price rose dramatically of food in Canada. Where should we have our supermarket? I believe that our supermarket will be in our backyard. Think about old farmers in the past. They grew their own food, they preserved some of it. We tend to believe that the only thing with our busy lifestyle, of course, is to go and stock on all these things that are not healthy and cost tremendous amount of money. Now, I would like to take you again to my hometown, to Montreal, and a student of us who joined together with other people to create a cooperative based on food. So it is not only affordable housing, but it is affordable housing that people are committed to grow their own food, and the place was designed to be this way. Make it extremely simple to grow food. And as you can see in that design, many of the places, the spots, either in the building itself, even the facade, was developed to grow food extremely easily. These are the type of things that they do that. And on the ground floor, they have a bakery, and you can see again 9 townhouses built next to each other in Montreal in an infill lot, and food is again one of the dominant elements, and you can see it in a green roof, greenhouses, and green yards. Everything was designed about growing food, and I believe that this is again similar to work at home. It is another strategy if we were to lower cost of housing for people, which is not directly related to affordable, but it is an important subsidiary thing. I believe that in the future, one way to achieve affordability will be to create means and measures to grow your own food, which might work for many. We are living in a very difficult time. If you were to read health report, you will find out that physicians are now diagnosing kids as young as 9 with diabetes type 2. Now, once you get diabetes, you stay with it for the rest of their life. Kids are not active at all. You say, how it is related to affordability here? It related to affordability because once you are not a productive citizen, your chances of getting the job that will enable you to buy the home or live in one are diminishing ever so dramatically. Our intention must be and need to be create a healthy nation. Work on our well-being, and this is once again extremely important in how we do things. I would like to take you to a place, to Finland. I went to Helsinki for a conference. And one of the things that I heard when I was there is that Finland is number 2 in the world in kids' education. Number 2 in the world, a country of 6 million people. And I asked myself, is there a relationship between kids being active and education? I believe there is, and I saw something that was amazingly interesting when I walked the streets of the neighborhood of a neighborhood in Porvoo. Now, look at this design. Look at this design. In the same community you drive, you park your car here and here. In the same community, all these white lines are paths that lead into the home. When I was there and I saw this plan, I say, gee, how the ambulance or the fire truck gets to this house if there is a fire? Now, do you think that the Finns are putting their citizens at risk? No. They figure it out. This is called innovation. This is called trying solution. This is where a builder and municipality do not work against each other. They work together to find solution. This is what innovation is all about, that create a nation that created the most educated, some of the most educated kids in the world. Nothing in what you see here. A community that have in the very same place single home, townhouse, and semi-detaches will be allowed in Canada. Again, the RCMP will be in the house of the architect the next morning. Why they? Why they and not us? We have all the smarts in the world, beautiful university, any resources. Why cannot we innovate? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us and our leaders to wake up, to start to close ranks with some of these places and think about new ideas and bring innovation to some of these places. But this is what I was fascinated by. In every cluster of home, near every cluster of home, I saw a play space. You know what they did? They put it in the bylaw that near every group of home you must have a playground. And then kids will not sit in the basement, play computer game with weird name that have killing in them and slaughtering in them and stuff like that. They will maybe step out to play in some of these places. And as I was walking, I recognized that when they build a sidewalk, they put a dot in the middle. We have to build a dedicated bike lane. But they are smart. They say pedestrians are here and cyclists are here. And they respect the law. We are wasting tremendous amount of money. And as I was walking, this is where they throw the recyclable. And I was there, I saw this woman beating the hell of a carpet. And I say to myself, oh, this is how they get rid of their stress. Now I believe that she can afford to buy a vacuum cleaner. But the joint decision that they made is not to use these things, to be active, to go and walk to a store and clean the carpet outdoors. And they build, as you can see, a special apparatus, a special tool for that. I believe that affordable housing is about healthy living as well. And if you go to that community in Finland, no setbacks, no large backyards, no large front yards. This is how you make affordability. No major roads, and if you tally them up, this is how you get affordable housing. So what is next for us? What is the future? I believe that we are now living in an important time. I believe that not having affordable housing will be a curse that will haunt us for many years to come. But the world is changing. It's changing in front of our eyes. We are living in a time of rapid change, whether we want it or not. The world is becoming greener nowadays. Green is not a word that people with long ponytail are talking about. Everybody is green today. Everybody, because we are living in a time of major climate change and change in our relationship with nature. We understand what happened here. We change commute. In the next few years, if not now, every car company will have an electric car. Many countries in Europe, Switzerland, Scandinavian country, by 2025, they will be eliminating fuel-based car from the road. It's a decision that was made. We are followers, they are the leaders. We are changing urbanity. We're building different homes, net zero home, all kinds of communities differently. And I believe that when I saw and visited some of these places, they are fantastic. They are fantastic, as you saw today. Different mindset, different approach to design, bringing and integrating the needs of well-being of people and of the planet, which is important. Something that we have today is a voice. You probably found about this event by email, by a message that was placed on Facebook. If you want to introduce change, we have the instrument to do that change very rapidly, something that we did not have before. But it is a difficult task to wake up in the morning and change. To go to your mayor, to go to your city councilors, to go, if you're a planner, very difficult. So you can start your day, or you can look in the morning, wake up, and see the empty half of the glass. I will stay with the status quo. Why to move the cheese? Why to step out from my comfort zone? Those people in this country decided to take a step because they recognize that this is what's important, and this create opportunities to create better communities, better societies, better people, to help the environment to heal, and do all these things that we can. It was wonderful to share these ideas with you this evening, because I truly believe, despite the fact that I talked about many subjects, affordability is not about subject and technicality. At the end of the day, affordability is about people. Thank you so much for listening to me today.